Science just caught up with the Bible again.
All right, let's see it.
The 10 plagues of Egypt that were told in Exodus were real.
No, they weren't.
Archaeologists just found this, and it is even more confirmation that it happened.
So this is about the Ipuwer Papyrus, which was not just discovered by archaeologists, but has been known to scholars for almost 200 years and is widely agreed by scholars to be a text that was originally written hundreds of years before any possible historical exodus, and also has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the 10 plagues of Egypt from the story of the Exodus.
It says here that they found a 3,000-year-old Egyptian scroll that talks about the plagues. This is apart from the Bible. This is an Egyptian scroll that shows a record of what happened. And it says here that it lines up with almost the exact same of the events that was recorded in Exodus.
So this is flagrant misinformation. To begin, the Ipuwer Papyrus itself is probably about 3,200 years old, but the text it preserves was probably written in the 19th or 18th centuries BCE, multiple centuries prior to any possible historical Moses or historical Exodus. And there is a part that says the river is blood, yet men drink from it. But the overwhelming majority of scholars agree this probably has to do with catastrophic flooding, which meant the water levels exceeded the black fertile soils of the Nile Delta and spilled out onto the red soil of the desert, which would have colored the river red. This kind of thing happens from time to time, even in different parts of the world down to today. But in Egypt, that would be symbolic of catastrophic flooding that was much higher than it was expected to be, and that would fit with the general idea of the story as social and natural disaster. And so it would just be about the Nile River being red because of all the red soil from the desert, because of catastrophically high flooding. So when you look at the whole story in the Ipuwer Papyrus, the overwhelming majority of the details do not fit with the story of the Exodus, and in many ways flatly preclude it. Because again, it's primarily about the social upheavals of the arrival of the Asiatics, not the departure of any Asiatics. And the Asiatics is how Egyptians referred to Semitic peoples who ruled Egypt for a time. Again, the overwhelming majority of scholars agree, not only does this predate the ostensible historical Exodus by multiple centuries, the details do not fit the story of the Exodus.
And on top of that, physical evidence from the same period shows abandoned cities, mass graves, and signs of national collapse in Egypt.
So this is just not true. There are abandoned cities and mass graves and signs of national collapse scattered around the history and archaeology of ancient Egypt, but they're not concentrated in the time periods when the Exodus is supposed to have happened. Whether you prefer an early date in the second half of the 15th century BCE or a late date in the second half of the 13th century BCE, those time periods are characterized by relative stability rather than the kind of social and natural disasters that resulted in the intermediate periods or resulted in the archaeological data that are described here.
These discoveries are forcing historians to reconsider what many once called myth. The Bible's account of the plagues is now backed by records from Egypt.
None of this is true. Historians are not being forced to do anything except for those historians who engage in public scholarship and so are forced to try to reason with people who will not be reasoned with.
The Bible isn't just a book of stories, it's a record of history that science is still catching up to.
That's just not true.
Follow and subscribe for more, and make sure to watch the video pinned below or in the bio to make sure you're going to heaven.
Nah, I'm good. But the fit for this video has been Get Low by my Mana D's Nuts.